The Winchester Mystery House, a labyrinth of madness and spirits. In the rolling hills of San Jose, California, stands a mansion that defies all logic and reason. A structure so bewildering, so intricately chaotic, that it has come to symbolize the very essence of madness. This is the Winchester Mystery House, a sprawling architectural enigma born from grief, fear, and the whispered curses of the dead. The tale begins in 1881, with the death of William Wirt Winchester, heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, a man whose family had built their fortune on the bloodshed of the American frontier. His widow, Sarah Winchester, was left with an immense fortune, a staggering $20 million, equivalent to over $500 million today, and an income of $1,000 a day, more money than she could ever spend. But with that fortune came something far darker, a curse, one that would drive Sarah to the brink of insanity and beyond. Sarah had already been devastated by the loss of her infant daughter, Annie, years earlier. The death of her husband plunged her deeper into despair, leaving her isolated and inconsolable. Seeking comfort, Sarah turned to the burgeoning spiritualist movement of the time, hoping to contact her lost loved ones. She sought out a medium in Boston, who delivered a message that would change her life forever. The medium told Sarah that the Winchester family was cursed, doomed to be haunted by the spirits of those who had been killed by the Winchester rifle, the gun that won the West. These spirits, the medium warned, were angry, vengeful, and they had fixed their malevolent gaze on Sarah. The only way to appease them, the medium advised, was to build a house that would never be finished. As long as construction continued, the spirits would be kept at bay, confused by the ever-changing design. Fearing the wrath of the spirits, Sarah left her home in New Haven, Connecticut, and traveled west to California. There, she purchased an 8-room farmhouse on a sprawling 162-acre estate in San Jose. It was there, in the shadow of the Santa Cruz Mountains, that Sarah embarked on her strange and obsessive building project, one that would last until the day she died. Construction on the house began in 1884, and for the next 38 years, it never ceased. Workers labored around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, adding rooms, wings, staircases, and corridors in a seemingly endless expansion. But there was no master plan, no blueprint to guide the construction. Instead, the house grew in a haphazard, almost organic manner, driven by Sarah's nightly seances and the cryptic instructions she claimed to receive from the spirits. The result was a mansion like no other, a sprawling, twisting labyrinth of 160 rooms, 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 47 staircases, 13 bathrooms, and 6 kitchens. The house was filled with bizarre architectural features that defied logic and reason. Staircases led to ceilings, doors opened onto blank walls, and windows overlooked other rooms. There were secret passageways hidden within the walls, trapdoors, and spy holes that allowed Sarah to observe visitors without being seen. The number 13, a number often associated with superstition and bad luck, appeared throughout the house, 13 panes of glass in windows, 13 steps in staircases, 13 coat hooks in closets. Everything seemed to be deliberately designed to confuse, disorient, and perhaps even trap the spirits Sarah believed were pursuing her. As the house grew, so did the legends surrounding it. Workers spoke of strange occurrences, tools disappearing, doors slamming shut on their own, and the eerie sound of ghostly footsteps echoing through the halls at night. Some claimed to have seen shadowy figures moving through the corridors or caught glimpses of Sarah herself, dressed in her customary black, wandering the house in a trance-like state. The servants and staff often whispered of the nightly seances Sarah conducted in her private seance room, where she would lock herself away to commune with the spirits and receive their instructions for the next day's construction. But the house was more than just a bizarre architectural curiosity. It was a living entity, a physical manifestation of Sarah Winchester's fear and guilt. Each new room, each new corridor, was an attempt to outwit the spirits, to keep them from finding her. The labyrinthine design, with its dead ends, false doors, and hidden passages, was meant to confuse the spirits, preventing them from reaching Sarah. The very walls of the house seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, as if the spirits themselves were trapped within, seeking a way out but finding only endless corridors and dead ends. Sarah Winchester's obsession with the house grew more intense with each passing year. She became increasingly reclusive, rarely leaving the house and interacting with the outside world only through her construction foreman. She wore a black veil at all times, a symbol of her perpetual mourning, and was seldom seen by anyone other than her staff. Her only companions were the spirits she believed guided her hand as she designed more rooms, more staircases, more doors. But despite the constant construction, Sarah was never at peace. She was haunted by nightmares of the spirits, and her waking hours were filled with the ceaseless sound of hammers and saws. The house became a prison of her own making, a never-ending monument to her guilt and fear. She spent her days wandering the endless corridors, checking the progress of the construction, and her nights in the seance room, desperately seeking the advice of the spirits. As the years went by, the house became a legend in its own right. People in San Jose spoke in hushed tones of the crazy widow in her haunted mansion. Some dared to venture near, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious structure, but few were brave enough to enter. Those who did were often struck by the eerie silence inside, the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes, and the disorienting, claustrophobic layout that made it easy to get lost in the maze of rooms. In 1922, after nearly 38 years of continuous construction, Sarah Winchester passed away in her sleep at the age of 82. With her death, the hammers finally fell silent, and the house was left unfinished, a sprawling, chaotic testament to one woman's grief and guilt. The servants, who had lived in the mansion with her, were finally free to leave, but many claimed they would never forget the unsettling atmosphere that had permeated the house. After her death, the mansion was opened to the public, and it quickly became a popular attraction for those curious about its strange history. Visitors to the Winchester Mystery House reported hearing disembodied voices, feeling cold spots, and seeing ghostly apparitions in the hallways and rooms. Some claimed to see the figure of Sarah Winchester herself, still wandering the corridors, her black veil shrouding her face as she continued her endless quest to outwit the spirits that haunted her. Even today, the Winchester Mystery House remains one of the most famous haunted houses in America, a place where the line between the living and the dead seems to blur. The house is filled with unanswered questions and lingering mysteries. Why did Sarah Winchester build it the way she did? Was she truly haunted by the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle, or was she driven mad by grief and guilt? Visitors to the house often leave with a sense of unease, as if the walls themselves are alive with secrets. The staircases to nowhere, the doors that open onto empty space, the hidden passageways, all seem to suggest a deeper, darker purpose. And in the quiet, shadowy corners of the house, where the light struggles to penetrate, one can almost feel the presence of something unseen, something that has lingered long after Sarah Winchester's death. The Winchester Mystery House stands as a testament to the power of grief, guilt, and the supernatural. It is a place where the past is never truly gone, where the dead may still walk among the living, and where the echoes of Sarah Winchester's fears and obsessions continue to resonate. For those who visit, the house offers a glimpse into a world where the boundaries of reality and the supernatural are thin, and where the spirits of the past may still hold sway over the present.